Okay. The U.S. presidential election is a little over 18 months away. The fate of the country may be dependent upon what happens within our state, and the state vote could very well hinge upon what happens in Philadelphia. In 2016, Pennsylvania's choice for president was decided by a little over 44,000 votes. According to the most recent census estimates and voter registration data, there are over 80,000 unregistered citizens within our city's boundaries. Why the large number of unregistered voters? A recent study published in the Election Law Journal in September of 2018 ranked Pennsylvania first among the 50 states in ease of voter registration and access to vote. Imagine what effect registering these voters in Philadelphia might have had upon the election in the state in 2016. Many of us in this room understand the lack of political will on the part of the General Assembly to effect the necessary changes to narrow the voter registration gap in the state. What is less understandable is why the school district of Philadelphia has not addressed the urgency of this issue within its purview. Native-born and naturalized high school students in the district turn 18 years old every day of the year. Why aren't these students given voter registration forms the day, week, or month that they turn 18? A homeroom teacher or a counselor might be able to perform such a task, along with spending a few minutes to assure that the form is completed correctly. There are also numerous people and organizations more than willing to lend a helping hand. Groups like POWER, the League of Women Voters, and retiree volunteers are currently involved in many such registration activities in schools once they know which students to register. Voter registration and voter engagement could even be a part of the civics curriculum in high school. In Maryland and Nebraska, school-sanctioned student registrars are trained and certified to perform voter registration in their schools. The benefits to the district should be self-evident. Since the district is constantly seeking adequate funding from the city and the state, an augmented electorate that is directly affected by insufficient resources should make obvious allies. And this constituency should be even larger if the district registered parents, many of whom are recently naturalized citizens at the time of their children's enrollment. Recently, I had the opportunity of interviewing candidates for city commissioner, several of whom stated having conversations with Dr. Haidt where he had expressed reservations about such activities because of the appearance of partisan politics. Whether such information is true, voter registration as a process is nonpartisan. And for whatever the district is doing, it can do so much more. Thank you.
Can you say something about that? Mr. Poses, so I want to make sure on the record, then I did not actually disagree with that. In fact, I encourage it, as we have 4 programs now that register students to vote, including the civics curriculum that could happen either in the 11th or 12th grade, just to ensure that all young people have an opportunity. Nonetheless, I heard some good recommendations from you, so we can add those things to our process for registering students as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I also wanted to add something to that comment because your comments are very timely. I had requested that the school district consider a policy where it is easy for students to vote when they turn 18, and that is something that we have discussed, and I hope will become part of the part of our policies. The kids can just go to the office and get their voter registration forms at that time. So it's very timely, and we're on it.
It would be phenomenal. It would be great if a report were done, maybe on a weekly, monthly basis, for those children that turn 18 to to alert them of that, of what you're talking about.
I agree, and I again, to speak to the piece that this is not a partisan issue. This is an issue of participating in a democracy, and it is part of citizenship, right? So if we take the politics out of it, that we should be, as a public education system, be training our kids to leave and transition into adulthood as engaged citizens. So
Okay.
that's what we're, yeah.
We're on it.
Sharon,
Thank you.
Sharon Bryant.